Dude, I'm doing good. It's Thursday. We're almost to Friday. Uh, I have some beers in front of me, and I'm going to talk to you guys. Thursday's going pretty well.
That's
Heck yeah.
cool.
Oh yeah.
That's
Happy
cool.
to, happy to be a part of the podcast.
Yeah, stoked to have you guys on. The new EP sounds super sick, and I know I'll say it when we actually get started, but like, major congrats on signing with No Sleep. That's like one of my favorite labels. So I'm super stoked for you guys.
Thank you. I'm very excited. Yeah, we're doing some cool shit.
But yeah, other than that, if you guys are ready to crack some beers, we'll do this opening crack, and then I'll do the little intro and bring the three of you guys in.
Opening crack.
No pressure.
I got one here. Let's listen.
I'll drink all three of these. Are you ready to watch me drink six IPAs on your podcast?
I think that'll we might have to call someone. I think that's going to be like a record for IPA.
I'm gonna say, I'll go for this record. Talk about UP shit, you know.
I'll run across the street and get more.
He's still going.
We'll go get some meal slices halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take it'll be like a 4-hour-long pod. Just like there's a giant break of just.
I'll get the mobile hotspot going. This is a tablet. We'll just take you around Marquette.
Hell yeah. All right. So in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This is a pretty dope episode. I'm truly stoked on this one. I'm sitting down with the dudes in the Casper Fight Scene. How are y'all doing?
Doing good.
Doing great.
Dude, I'm so stoked that we're doing this. Like I kind of said before the episode started, the new EP sounds super sick, and I'm stoked to talk all about it. But before we get too far, like I did mention, you guys are the Casper Fight Scene. You guys are an emo band from Marquette, Michigan. Another Michigan band on. I haven't had a Michigan band on in a while now. I think about it. So I'm super stoked to have another one. And also, before we get too far, can you go around and kind of say who you are and what you do in the Casper Fight Scene?
I'm Peter. I play bass.
I'm Kenny. I play guitar.
I'm Jason. I do vocals. I also play guitar, and we are missing our drummer Mikey. He is at a wedding.
Okay. Well, since Mikey's not with us, we'll pour one out for him, and by pour one out, I just mean we'll take a drink for him in his honor.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it for you, Mike.
Love you, Mikey.
Love Mike.
But like I've kind of been mentioning, you guys put out this new EP, but before we kind of get into that, I kind of want to talk about some early Casper Fight Scene. I saw like the first 2-song like demo came out in like 2021. I mean, you guys have had a pretty eventful couple years. So that came out in 2021. Your debut EP, Good Deal, comes out in August of 2022. And now you're already releasing your second EP. But I kind of want to talk about Good Deal, like for people that are just now finding you from the signing and this new EP coming out, you have to go check out Good Deal. And even the 2 like song demo, that was still pretty sick. But Good Deal, I feel like still holds up, and it's a nice especially listening to the new EP going into that, it's like a nice little change up B-side of what most people are already wanting a full length from you guys. But yeah, Good Deal came out 2022. Super stoked on that. Like, you take me back to like that initial release. I know it's been a little over a year, but that being your first work of music for this project, what was that time like?
Well, I don't know. With this band, we've always kind of functioned on the like we don't really do anything until people start like telling us to do stuff or like asking like why haven't you done this yet? And we were like out playing shows and stuff downstate and like around Marquette, obviously, but I don't know, we were just kind of running around with Flesh Wound and Motorcycle, and then we put out Kill Me. And then Kill Me kind of popped off a little bit more than expected. Like ran it up on Chillwave's YouTube. Shout out Chillwave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a big deal. So yeah, like I said, we were kind of like out playing shows and stuff, and a few of those songs were like written before we even ever considered really doing an EP. I'd say like 4 out of 5 of those, right? Because Tequila we wrote at the Wilkinson house. Yeah, so
was Wyoming.
yeah, Wyoming. I don't know, with the Good Deal in Wyoming thing, that kind of once I had the bones for those songs, I was like, okay, maybe like that would be kind of a cool start to a record, and we dished that idea around. And then I got a hold of Saturdays at your place. Shout out again. um, but I got a hold of them and asked who did their full length that they had out before Always Cloudy, and they sent us in the direction of Tyler Floyd, the man, the myth, the legend, and he helped us with that record, and it's definitely kind of like a learning experience. Like we had our stuff down when we went into the studio to record those songs, but I don't know, it just felt different, because with the other stuff we recorded, it was in this practice space here, and it was Dave Danu from Charmer that like just kind of recorded the stuff in our practice space. So driving 8 hours south to record an EP was definitely a game changer. It kind of pushed us to want to do more stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because at that point it kind of feels like, oh, this is more than just like 4 dudes just jamming out in the basement, just putting random stuff out. This, like, it kind of made it a little bit more real and like, oh shit, like this is a little bit more big time type of feel, I'm guessing.
Yeah, because like they had like a booth, which was like a big deal, Or like me and Mikey were like on the other side of the glass, like, I can't hear you, can you hear me? Yeah, like we're all from the sticks up here, so going down to Detroit and working in like a legit studio, it was, I don't know, definitely a big deal for us,
Wasn't the other room in Eureka, wasn't that like a professional like sports photographer too? So there were just there were just all these like cool pictures hanging around.
Yeah, of like Detroit Red Wings players and like WNBA players and stuff. It was so strange. Such a cool experience. We like slept on our former bass player Zach, his buddy. Zach's from Detroit, and we slept at his buddy's house. And like I don't know, it was kind of rough. Like,
shout out Zuby.
Yeah, shout out Zuby. Yeah, but he's cool as hell. But like, we didn't have any beds to sleep in, and me and Kenny like slept in like recliners. And I'm like 7 feet tall. It was rough, but
7 feet, that's a stretch.
yeah, that is. All right, you got me. I'm only 6'11". No, but really, it is uncomfortable for me to sleep sometimes. It was a fun trip. And then like when we were on our way back, like, I don't know, the rough mixes that we got from Tyler were like the cleanest rough mixes that any of us had ever heard. So we just like played them on repeat, just like gassing each other up. It was a great time.
I mean, like I said, that EP is still super sick, and everyone that's listening, please go check it out. Because, I mean, not only listening to the new EP, but finding that obviously there's a little bit more to the discography is always nice to kind of dive into. So that kind of rounds out like the 2022 year. Now we're getting into 2023, and I know at the time of this recording we're at end of September, but earlier this month, or maybe it was last month, I don't remember the exact date on it, but you announced, the new EP, but also along with that, you announced you signed to No Sleep. Like I said earlier, congratulations for doing that. I know that's always kind of start end goals for a lot of people, and to be able to do that, major props. But your latest EP called Haymaker, another not to be wrong, another 5-song EP, just following up what Good Deal brought to the table, but with a little bit more of a little slight, I feel like, change in feel to the sound. What kind of brought along that change from the last EP to this one?
There were so many life changes for like every single one of us. It just seemed appropriate. You know, because like I said before, we didn't really think about putting out an EP, like a collection of songs, when we were writing this other stuff.
We lived together for a good deal too, which was different.
Yeah, it made working on stuff a lot easier because like me and Kenny, we literally just like worked and went home and hung out and like drank and played guitar and stuff. It was pretty cool. But I don't know, like with Haymaker, we got girlfriends, all like everyone is a band, and like we all started new jobs and stuff was just kind of crazy. And I don't know, I just felt more appropriate to write in the kind of tone that we did, just because like I don't want to call Good Deal adolescent, you know what I mean, because it's not. But you know, like I don't know, it's cool not writing songs about like my ex-girlfriend just chilling smoking weed.
Right. You know, like I've talked about that before too, is like obviously every release is kind of just a glimpse into like where you are at that point in your life, but at the same time, people that just kind of get on the same track of like like playing the same general style stuff, and same like topics. So you'll have like, 40-year-old pop punk dudes still talking about their girlfriend in high school. It's like, okay, like you had to have experienced something else in your life besides just high school drama. Like bring
Yeah,
it to more relevance.
yeah. So that's why I mean, like I don't know, I had a kid and like there just seemed like other shit to talk about, like I don't know. I guess it's still relatively the same shit, but just in like a different way.
Yeah, I think it's
Same shit, different light.
I think you wrote more like self, like internal
Yeah,
conflicts instead of just like more literal stuff on the
yeah,
CP.
yeah. I agree with that. I don't know. I just kind of like if I'm gonna write emo music, it's gonna be emo, you know.
It's great logic. I love it. But yeah, like you kind of said, it's more of like self-reflection. So like I'm pretty sure Discomfort In, like we were just saying, you're 6'11", is talking about, falling asleep in a chair that no. I know 6'6", 6'4". Okay.
All right, 6'10". Yeah,
Because it's right before like we got on, I did see that like tweet that someone tweeted out, and you did mention 6'6" in that one, so I was gonna gradually get there.
yeah, that's Joe Mockingbird, and that all started because of
Shout out Joe.
I don't know their name, but this Taylor person said something on Twitter about always wanting to say fat ass instead of fat up. And I was like, we've been talking about this for a year. Yeah. I don't know, we've done a good job planting roots downstate, which, we do the ham thing. We're up here, and then downstate, that's this part.
Okay.
And Marquette is like the only place where there's like a scene in the UP. Otherwise, it's just straight up like woods and like and like
There's one in Houghton too.
there's a Houghton scene, but Marquette's Marquette. But we got down state, and like we made a lot of friends there. So now like we want to go over to like Wisconsin and Minnesota, down to Chicago, get around.
Well, I mean, one thing you guys are doing, you guys are at least getting out of like your neck of the woods the next couple months, doing Fauxchella in October, and then doing what is it, Shadow Money Spell Exchange in
I love
November.
that so much.
Fucking yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, like we signed to No Sleep, and Quinn from Twitter, who we all know Quinn as, commented on the No Sleep post and was like, could I get a Casper, Oklahoma gig, please? And I was like, okay. And then I just straight up like messaged Ben Quad. And I was like, can we play a gig in Oklahoma for like the surprise Quinn? And Edgar just, let me know that they were doing this fest thing in November. So I hit Quinn up about that, and he sent me the flyer, and there's like so many good bands. So excited, you know. Fauxchella, that was kind of like a random thing too. I don't know. Connor's really cool. I met Connor. He runs the Shack, Summit Shack. Met them down at Pugfest, and yeah, Connor's super chill. Like I'll text them sometime and sometimes and just say what's up. Just I don't know, pretty cool, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Both of those fests have super stacked lineups. Like I know I can't and should not spend money to go to Fauxchella, but I really want to go to Fauxchella. I don't know if this will be I don't think this is going to be the year, but I just hope it, keeps building and growing because the past few lineups have just been so sick.
They have. Yeah, and like I don't know if Connor he's skeptical about doing one again this year. But I don't know. It's a super stacked lineup. You know, I'm glad that we're on it. If you make the trip, you can hang out. Like you can have like a shirt. We can drink beer.
Oh, excuse that.
It's Pete's bedtime.
No, dude, my phone. I got a new phone because on our last weekender, my phone broke. And this new phone, the time's flipped. So like right now, it thinks it's 8:30 in the morning, and my phone alarm just went off to get up for work.
Because it is 8:30 in the morning. Pete.
So like tomorrow it'll be Friday, but it's gonna say that it's Saturday. It's just it fucks with me, dude.
Jeez.
Get out of bed.
I'm gonna work. Get off the podcast. Oh. Sorry about that.
But early, so kind of jumping back into something I said earlier before dabs and a few stories. Like I said, I love tangents. I always love to see where we go with that. And plus, it worked out because I wanted to talk about Fauxchella and the other fest, anyways. But like Pete kind of said, this album's more of like a self-reflection rather than just melodramatic problems. And the song Discomfort In is kind of talking about how we were saying earlier, being a 7 foot 6'4" person, having to, I think one of the lines in there is about sleeping in a chair, kind of reverting back to kind of the experiences you were talking about when you were recording. So it was kind of nice to have those more I mean, even the first EP was relatable, but having more relatable stuff like that as you are growing. So it's nice to see. That's one thing I love about people like that are growing with their music and their material.
Yeah. I would honestly I'd say as far as writing goes, like the biggest buzz that I can get is if someone walks up and is like, "Oh man, when you said that one thing, blah blah blah, like I was right there, man. Like I was in the back seat of that car." That's what I'm hoping to accomplish, more or less. I want everything to be relatable because I feel like in this genre, music in general, I guess, like we're all listening to it, because we're trying to feel something, trying to relate,
No, yeah. So I mean, for people that might not have checked out this EP, like I said, it's a nice little 5-song ripper, and it's more of a self-reflection. But like, tell me some more about this EP for people that might not have checked it out yet, that are finding you guys through this episode, that are like, oh, I need another emo band to listen to. Like, what kind of sets this EP apart?
Tell him, Ken.
The Gary effect.
It's the Gary effect.
The Gary effect. That was. Yeah, I don't know. You wrote the EP, man.
Yeah.
I just played the guitar.
Honestly, the Gary effect's a real thing. Because like we went out to New Jersey and these songs sounded like a lot different. Really, they did. But Gary Chioni, he kind of helped us rethink things a little bit, made stuff make more sense. But as far as what separates us from the pack, it's such a hard question. Because I don't know. We're playing standard, and like everything that I do rhythmically on guitar. You know, it's kind of just so that like Kenny can noodle around and just rip. You know, so like there isn't a lot of real complexity to what I do. You know, I just try to again write relatable lyrics that can kind of put you in my shoes. And the guitar for it, I just more or less I'm looking for something to use to write that song, you know, and then I leave all the crazy shit up to like Kenny and Mikey and Pete, and they just rip, you know. It's pretty sick. Yeah.
Kenny, anything you want to like add to that?
I can add to the Gary effect. It literally changed how I wrote songs for even how I thought about songs. He does this thing where he's a very hands-on producer, where he challenges you a lot. Where he's like, "Why is this there?" And then you go, "Oh shit, I don't know why that's there."
So accurate. Yeah.
And then it's
okay.
He helped us find our sound a lot with this EP, because there were some songs that sounded much different than when we brought them to him versus when we left Sound Acres there.
Yeah, again, like the writing process, like for a good deal, was very much just like me and Kenny in the lab, you know, working on shit. And then we got to go play all of those songs out live, you know, like with shows before we recorded them, where like everything with Haymaker, I wrote at my apartment, you know, brought it down to practice, worked on some demos that sounded just crazy.
The tech demos.
Yeah, the tech demos. Yeah, so I guess that's really it. You know, like we try to play fast to some degree, not all the time. But play loud. As far as like the gray area between punk and emo, like that's where we want to sit, you know. Yeah, we rely heavily on, you know, like Mikey with drums and bass too, you know. We're a very drivey band, digga-da, but not too drivey, you know, so it's still emo. Yeah.
And like how you kind of mentioned where you're able to kind of workshop a lot of these songs, you know, at shows and do that. With these two fests coming up and any future shows, if someone is planning to go see you in the future, like what can they kind of expect from a set from the Casper Fight Scene?
Energy. That's kind of our whole thing. We like to be very energetic.
Bounce around a lot. Mikey takes his shirt off. He gets nuts. You know, that's
typical drummer stuff.
Yeah. I agree with Ken. You know, like first and foremost, the only reason why we do any of this is literally to have fun, have a good time, you know. So I will say that if you're gonna come see us pretty much anywhere, as long as we're doing our thing, then you know, you're gonna see us probably having the time of our lives, big smiles on our faces.
Happy to be there.
Oh yeah,
happy to 100%. Be there. Just kind of geeking out when Pete does something crazy. You know,
there's a running meme within the band where every show we play, there's always some crazy picture of Pete, no matter what he's doing.
Yeah, they always catch you with like my mouth open or something. I would make a lot of just stank faces.
Stank face, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Every single one, it's yet to fail.
Yeah, we'll probably have some sort of technical difficulty. Like I'll break a string, or Peter will break a string, or Kenny will, or all three of us will.
Where I broke 2 strings simultaneously, 2 songs in a row.
Yeah,
couldn't catch a break.
To add on to like their whole thing, I'm new to the band still, so I watched them as a fan for a while, and just from a fan perspective, these guys are just like fun and like loud, and just like that's what you should expect, is just like a fun, thrashy time to just like let loose. It's
Jason,
like,
Jason will say, "Give it up for lasagna."
yeah, he'll say dumb shit like that all the
Give it
time.
up for lasagna. Yeah.
Well, watching these boys do their thing has been a blast. I can be part of it. Very thankful. But yeah, they're just a group of fun guys, that's for sure.
Is this mine?
No, it's mine.
Okay.
You're just still in the bag. It's closed.
I'm still here. I'm just over here smoking more weed.
We're bad. We're bad guests.
I think this is the most slightly chaotic one I've done in a while, and I'm kind of down for it. Everything's been too tame for the last few episodes, so I did.
That's another thing to expect at our shows. Chaos.
Slightly chaotic. That's a good way to describe
Controlled
Casper.
chaos.
Describe Casper. Slightly chaotic.
Controlled chaos.
I wouldn't call it controlled.
There's little to no control.
There was one show where I broke a string on my bass. It was the E string. I couldn't believe it, man.
I was
The
last.
odds of that happening.
I was last man standing. Mikey had a stick down. Jason broke a string. Pete broke a string. I was the only one left with a fully functional instrument.
I was pickled. Or kiss your friends.
That was a great show.
Shout
still.
out.
Kiss your friends.
They were great.
They were great.
Now I kind of got to know, like, why do you always yell, "Give it up for lasagna"?
You know, if I'm being honest, I'm just a big fan of Italian cuisine. You got your lasagnas, your minestrone, your gabagool.
No baked ziti to be found on top of this band.
We played this one show.
The Goblin Zone.
Yeah, we played at the Goblin Zone. Shout out Kiefer. And one of the band's vans was parked out front, and there was a pigeon on it, like just on top, and it was like 7, whatever.
Straight chilling.
The whole show went on, right? And we'd get DoorDash. We're waiting outside. 1 a.m., dude. The pigeon's still there. Like if you
talking 6 hours, fucking.
I'm pretty sure if you dig deep enough on our Instagram on one of the posts, there's a video of Kenny trying to get it off the roof.
Yeah. The term was coined, no baked ziti to be found on top of this van.
It's pure gold.
It's great, dude.
It's Kenny like brown out drunk, like on top of a van.
Yeah.
There's no big Z to be found on top of this van.
That's cat.
Yeah.
It's Final Boss Fights, man.
It was.
That is tough around you though. I don't know, like again, like there's no point in doing any of this shit.
Yeah.
For having fun. You know what's fun? Chasing pigeons off the top of vans when you're brown up. Well, that's Casper's idea of a good time.
I mean, that's also what you want in a band that you like and follow, is you want to see them like having fun and just being, because I mean, at the end of the day, you're playing music with like your best friends anyways, and you're getting to do this. So, you know, live it up. Like, that was my favorite thing about like being on the road with my friends, is like we were all just really good friends and got to fuck around and drive around to different cities and just fuck around in other people's towns. I mean, that's what you want.
Yeah. I honestly, like, going down to Lansing, that was a huge deal, you know, because like I don't know, we'd been around downstate, you know, a few times, but
Kazoo. That was really our first downstate state show.
That is a fun fact. Our first show out of town was in Kalamazoo at a venue called the Irish Goodbye.
Shout out Fluke.
Fluke.
I miss Fluke.
With Saturdays at your place, and nothing new. It was so weird because like again, like Marquette's sick. There's a lot of music stuff going on up here, but you know, besides like us being Casper and Small Comforts, like there's like Charmer as far as other emo stuff goes right now.
You got Mike.
Oh yeah, I can't forget about Mike Maple. Yeah, Liquid Mike. That's another Marquette band. But going down to Lansing, it was like we met like our long lost family, you know, where like all those folks down there, it was just like instantly like you want to be best friends, you know, and that's pretty much what happened.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
You want to go do karate in the gun zone? Yeah, but like that's, I don't know, like we go out on the road, we get to live like pirates for like 3 days, and then you know the end game is literally like going and seeing all of our good friends. You know, we get to play, they get to play, they kill, we get to have fun, and the fact that that is really at the end of the day the only objective, like in doing this stuff, because there's a lot of headaches that goes into like, you know, playing in a band in general, but being on the road as well. But like none of that means dog shit once like you're at the gig, you're with your buddies, you know, you're watching your friends on stage, and I'm standing next to Kenny and Pete. We're like, this is fucking crazy. You know, like I don't know, it's pretty cool. Again, like that's winning, you know. That's like the hard work paying off. Kind of cool to think about. Never really thought about it that way.
Like, it doesn't matter if we don't sell any merch, if we don't get any listeners, whatever. It's down there to have fun,
Hanging,
and hang,
eating fucking,
friends, yeah.
eating fucking Fleetwood, chilling.
Shout out Fleetwood Diner.
Shout out Fleetwood Diner.
There was one time when Trustees was actually on. We took like a hardcore like pose photo outside at the Fleetwood sign, and that was actually on when you Googled Fleetwood Diner for a minute.
Yeah. It was so funny. There was a Fleetwood Diner look-alike when we were in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Remember?
Minneapolis.
Yeah, I had an amazing burrito there. It was
You
great.
guys call the police?
No.
Just kidding.
It was
I
so
had
good.
I had the same exact thing I get at Fleetwood, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Forgot what it was called. No,
Wood Fleet.
that's not what we're here to talk about.
We're not talking about breakfast, Mike.
Yeah, this is a breakfast with bands. This is beers with bands. I mean, that doesn't even translate right anyways.
Spin-off show.
Yeah. Before we start to kind of transition, I know we're kind of getting into some stories, which I'm loving them already. But I know, like we talked about, Haymaker has been out for, at this point, not even a full 15 days. It came out on the 15th. It's only the 28th, 29th today. I mean, obviously the signing is a big deal, but like, what was kind of like the reaction behind this EP coming out, and like, what are some things that you've heard from your friends about this EP in general?
Lots of support,
Yeah,
especially
definitely.
especially from our downstate friends. That's more than most I got. I would show everybody little snippets when we went down there to play like those church shows, and everyone's just always super hyped for what we do, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, I mean, like, people have been super supportive. We didn't really say anything about like we did like a Q&A thing on our way out to New Jersey to record, but I don't think that like
that just turned into like, you know,
Yeah,
6:29 hot and ready.
but no one really asked like I think we got asked one out of probably like 30, 40 questions was like, what are you guys up to?
Then all you put is like, I don't know, devil face.
Yeah. So like I don't know, we put stuff online that we had a new song that was coming out, and you know, immediately people were pretty stoked. And then like we had to change the release date for Haymaker a couple times actually, because
Twice.
yeah, like we played the show where Pete's E string broke on his bass guitar, and the next morning like we woke up and like, I don't know, I just emailed Chris, you know, just like see what would happen, didn't really expect anything. And then he got back to us, and I was like, oh shit, in the group chat, like, no sleep. Emailed back. Everyone's like, oh shit. Yeah. And then at that point, like, I don't know, we didn't really say anything about that either until like we actually announced it.
Dane didn't believe us.
Yep. Yeah, Dane Goose of the band Tournament and
Corduroy dad.
Yeah.
Not caps.
Corduroy Pants. I don't know, he's in like 4 bands in Lansing. Check out Corduroy Pants, Dad Caps, Final Boss Fight, Tournament, and All My Friends Are Goth.
Dear Heretic.
Dear Heretic,
Fame.
my
Clipboard.
clipboards. Which are keep going.
Yeah.
Check out Saturdays at Your Place. No, but like I don't know. We didn't really say anything. And so once we actually said like we're coming out with an EP and also it's on No Sleep, you know, it was kind of like a 1-2 like papa thing. You know, we're like it seemed like people were like double excited. And that's exactly what we were hoping for because we were double excited. You know?
Well, I remember like so I'd been following you guys for a while and I'd known of you guys. I don't remember if it was right after the first EP or when it was that I first started following. But I remember when I was scrolling through Twitter one day and then there was like the No Sleep post of like, hey, we just signed the Casper Fight Scene. And I was like, oh hell yeah. I've for sure heard of those guys. That's fucking sick that they just got signed. And then like I kind of you know, liked it, kept going with my scrolling and everything. That's, I mean, it's crazy that just after the night after a show, just was it more of on a whim that you were just like, I'm just gonna send this email and just see what the fuck happens type deal?
Yeah, I do that a lot. You know, like
He does. I go through the Casper DMs and then there's just a bunch of fishing lines being sent.
yeah,
Doesn't know if he's gonna catch it.
like I'll DM like Intuit over it. Like I DM Pet Symmetry and was like, y'all ever want to come to Marquette? And they're like, yeah, we love the woods. And I was like, but it works out, you know, like I don't know. We've gotten this far, and I think that if you're gonna try and pursue music, you have to get good with rejection, you know, pretty quick. Otherwise, you're just gonna tank, you know. So I don't know. I've been operating off of blind confidence for like 10 years with music, just hoping that I don't suck. Yeah, and I don't know. It was kind of a whim thing. Like we had talked about it. Gary from Sound Acres, he, you know, said you guys should shop this around, so on and so forth. And again, I just had a kid. We're all super busy with just like our personal lives outside of Casper. And next thing you know, it's like July, then it's August, and you're putting a record out in a month and you haven't shopped it around, you know. So that morning, I was like still in bed and I was like, I'm gonna shop this thing around right now. And I did. And you know, Chris got back to us. And you know, we're buddies with Saturdays at Your Place. If they were, you know, if they weren't on No Sleep, probably still would have sent that email anyways, you know, but like it just seemed cool to be on a label with those dudes. You know, they're friends with us again, and they're just so good. they're so good. That go ahead.
Yeah, I saw them at first time seeing Saturdays at Your Place it was our first downstage show too. So and they opened that night, and it's in Luke's basement, the Irish Goodbye in Kalamazoo. And then we got down there. I didn't know really what to expect. I'm like, all right. We had of course listened to them beforehand, and we're like, wow, this is really good. I was obsessed with coffee cups for like 3 months, and actually seeing them play the first time, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, that was like our first look at like seeing like a in our eyes like a real band, right? Where like we heard everything about them, tone, songwriting, covers. Like they what Oso song did they play?
Oh, they did both of my favorite songs. They did Goodbye Old Love, Hello New Friend by Oso, and then they did Girl Scout cookies by Mom Jeans.
It was wild. Like I don't know, it was wild because they're kind of a big deal now, you know, and we're very proud of them. But it was a weird show that we played that night. You know, like I don't know. I got pretty fucked up, and like, should we talk about the Swicknick? We're gonna talk about the Swicknick.
We're not talking.
It's too late. So
We don't talk about
so
that
we
anymore.
we don't talk about that.
I still work there.
But we played our company picnic. Mine and Kenny, or me and Kenny, we work at a plumbing and heating place. I got fired like 2 days ago. I'm not gonna lie. I did get fired like 2 days ago. So Kenny works at a plumbing and heating place that I worked at up until 2 days ago. And yeah, they asked us to play our company picnic for like a bunch of like blue collar Uper dudes, and like these are all of our coworkers. I had been there for going on a year. Kenny had only been there like a few months, but it was weird. I thought there was gonna be like alcohol and stuff, but no, it was just like a sober as a judge fucking like company picnic in our parking lot with like a mechanical bull for some reason. It was so strange. It was so strange, and it was like raining, and they had us play in like in like a bay where they put furnaces and like water heaters and stuff like that. And it was probably like 15 feet long by like 4 feet deep. It was bad, and it was just a really strange experience. No one had fun that day. We're at that show. I had fun.
I'm like, I kind of had fun.
I had fun.
Yeah.
And they got to eat good food too. Like I don't know.
We had a taco truck.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But we did that, and then like that was weird. Played the show at Superior called the Crib.
That was the crib. That was the night where everybody, where Mikey lost the stick, you lost the string, Pete lost the string.
But we played at the Crib, and like the aftershock of the company picnic thing, kind of like bled into this next set later in the night. And like I was just like, this is weird, and like I was just like I kept drinking, and I did not stop. And everyone broke strings. We had
a fat stinker.
Yeah, played a fat stinker. Yeah. And then I woke up the next morning and I was like, fuck. I was like, damn, dude, like yesterday was crazy. And I was like, it'd be really crazy is if I just like started lighting off emails. We got a record deal. And then that happened. That literally happened. And here we are on Beers with Pants.
I mean, like they say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I mean, it worked. Like, I know I get in that same mindset where I'm like trying to find bands to do the show. And I'm like, they'll never be on. They're just going to say no. I'm not even going to send them an email. They'll never be on. I won't send them an email. And actually for, Taking Meds put out a new album a little bit like, I mean, at the time this comes out about a month ago, and I got like hit up by by someone, or I found out about it, and I was like, yeah, let's see how this fucking goes. And I just sent that one, and they responded back like within a couple hours, and were like, yeah, sounds great. Let us know when. And I was like, well, I'm fucking. I felt like I needed to buy a lottery ticket. Like I felt so fucking good.
Yeah.
Day.
You're 100% right. You're gonna miss every shot that you don't take.
Jason, what's the beer count, Jason?
I'm on 2. About to be 3. Might as well round that out. 4 beers, right?
Well, we're about to get to the beer segment, but before we get there, I just want to ask. I know we kind of talked about the new EP, Signing to No Sleep, the upcoming festival shows. But is there anything else that we might have missed about the Casper Fight Scene between music or just the band that we haven't talked about?
I don't really think so. Is there anything?
Well, like lately, like we've had a lot of help from our friends Eric and Tanner as well.
Yeah.
And like Eric drives us to all our shows out of the van he lives in. So like it's just a crazy time and
Yeah, we brought Eric down to a show at the Goblin Zone in June. And like the next morning, like we woke up and Eric was like, I want to go to every show. And then like that was 3 months ago and he just like has
gone to every show. We just his van is an old ambulance, so it's just giant.
Oh hell yeah!
At the top as an ambulance, and he's got the whole thing just catered to his
full kitchen.
Full
like,
kitchen.
Living in the back. And we just ride in that, and we have just a crazy good time every time we go on the road.
Yeah. Sometimes we can have a little bit too crazy of a time on the road. We played Pugfest, and on the way back, I think we spent like $94 on hot dogs.
Wienerlicious at the bridge every time.
Yeah.
There's this really good hot dog shop there's the Mackinac Bridge, right? We go to it's called Wienerlicious. It's in Mackinac City. It's right before you hit the bridge, or is it?
It's right. It's right when you get off the bridge going downstate.
Yeah.
So
and we stopped at it literally every single time we crossed. We're probably.
I'm gonna see if this will work. This is the building.
Yeah, it's got a giant like 30 to 50 foot hot dog on top of it, and it's just the spot.
Does that work?
Oh yeah, it's dude, that is fucking amazing.
Right. So you have to stop, right?
Yeah, you have to stop.
That's how they fucking get you, man. Is with the hot dog.
You walk in, it's like
you get in there.
$6 a dog.
It's $6 a dog, but like it's delicious. Like all the food's just bomb. They have like chili.
But they're at least like different specialty hot dogs, right?
Of course.
Yeah, they have one where it's a beer brat wrapped in maplewood bacon on a brioche roll.
They do like Chicago dogs.
That's my go-to every time is the Chicago dog with the sweet peppers.
I never do it any different. Yeah.
Well, just so you guys know, if you guys make it out to, I think it's in the Philly area. I sat down with a band called Haunt Dog from there, and they said that there is also another hot dog spot out there that has like a crazy menu as well.
I love that. Let's go.
Oh yeah, I'm big on the dogs. My hot dog count is actually pretty low.
I mean, we did have hot dogs last weekend.
Yeah, but those were my last hot dogs.
We made our own hot dogs. We're on a budget.
But I know we talked about like the EP, we talked about you guys, but now we're going to kind of transition. We've been telling a lot of fun stories, and I want to get to there and just let you guys run wild with this. But this is obviously Beers with Bands. Like I normally say, you don't have to be drinking on these episodes, but I know you guys are drinking some fine beverages in front of you. What are you drinking on this fine Thursday night?
Grab it.
I fucking knew this was gonna come up.
Marquette's own.
Yeah, should we both hold them up?
Marquette's own 51K from Black Rocks Brewery here in Marquette.
Sponsor us, Black Rocks.
Please do.
Please.
Please.
I need cases of that. Was it the Grand Rapids? I need cases of Grand Rapids for every tour.
That's how Casper was born. Was me and Jason drinking Grand Rapids.
Yeah, it was bad. It was like during lockdown, and like I was working at a newspaper deemed not essential, so I was just like at home doing nothing. Kenny was managing a music shop in Iron Mountain, and we were both just doing a whole lot of nothing. So we were like, should we record some music? And we did, and all of that was fueled almost exclusively by Black Rocks beer, made in Marquette, Michigan.
Gonna leak up.
Yeah. They like have, I'm sure, like a different location, but their main headquarters is just like a big badass house that they bought on 3rd Street, which is like kind of a shopping area with like small businesses. Marquette's like small as it is, but 3rd Street, it's all again just like mom and pop shops, you know, and like 51K. Black Rocks is I don't know, it feels like a mom and pop shop when you like walk into their brewery, you know, and like all their shit is super good, and I think this is like 7.5% alcohol. You drink 7%, but you drink like 651Ks and like
That's
definitely
it for the.
shouldn't
Yeah.
drive a car. You know,
I mean, you should probably not drive a car after the first one if it's 7%.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever actually drank 6 of these.
I have, and it put me out.
Kenny died.
Yeah, that was same time around the birth of the band, where I was outside listening to music, sitting on the porch drinking beers, and I drank 6 of those, and that was where I laid my head that night.
And that is where I made my bed. Yeah.
Well, that IPA sounds delicious. Go ahead, do it.
Oh,
So nice, so crisp.
Yeah.
No, yeah, those beers sound delicious. I've been, that's one thing that's been on my list is like I'm in the Twin Cities. We have so many breweries around. Of just hitting them up and being like, hey, I do this. Would you want to donate? Because again, it goes back to you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and I haven't taken a single one of those. So maybe those emails will start going out. Maybe we'll freshen this up.
If there is beer that you're passionate about down there, 100%, send that email.
Well, there is one brand that I have sent multiple emails, and yet I still drink their beer, and they have never responded, and that is good old Pabst Blue Ribbon. Drinking that on tonight's episode. Still waiting on the feedback, Pabst.
That's designated show beer for me. Always
Exactly.
Pabst.
What was the thing that they had on Colbert? Didn't PBR have some like crazy tweet that was on Colbert?
They've had like I don't know about the one that was on Colbert, but I know like I think it was mainly like over lockdown. Whoever had their Twitter was just going off like all the time.
Whoever it was, I do remember that they were like friends. They were like a part of like the DIY emo community. That's when Hunt Mulligan got the PBR.
Yeah, they had what was it, the 1776 case or some shit like that. It was like basically like a pallet of beer.
Yeah, and if you if you look at their Instagram, they have like a pool party photo shoot. That's at Gary from Sound Acres. That's in his pool at his house. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, like around that same time, PBR tweeted and was like, "Sober October ? Try eating ass." Or something like that, and it ended up on Colbert, and then the guy who got Hot Mulligan that plug got fired. That's so funny, dude. Because like, I don't know, the fact that somebody who was tied to this community got into that position and was just given free reign of like PR's Twitter is just so insane to me.
Well, it's also like Wendy's Twitter too. Like that one kind of gets unhinged, and they have to be someone in the music community, like on the alternative to emo side also, because like they tweet about like they remember when they did all those roast of like all like neck deep real friends and shit like that. Like it was great.
Pure gold. Yeah, I keep up with Wendy's on Twitter every now and then just to see if anything pops up.
That's a must follow account.
Right.
I think they like got so many like roast requests that they like finally just took a day, and they're like, this like specific day you can like DM or like message us, and we'll like that's our roast day. All the other days are just like fuck off.
All right, I followed Wendy's on Twitter as well as Wendy's Canada. Wendy's Canada is followed by Wendy's.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
We're getting vinyl.
Dude, I wanted to ask about that tonight. I know I saw No Sleep's tweet about like, hey, wouldn't it be sick if this is like on vinyl? But so it is for sure happening.
I think so. Yeah. Yes. It is for sure happening. Chris from No Sleep Records.
Right? No pressure now, man.
What a leak.
Yeah, I don't know. He like said something on Twitter, and then I got excited. Said something to these guys in the group chat, and then today on Twitter, he was like, repost and like, we get vinyl, blah blah. But I don't know. It would be cool, right? If that did happen.
I mean, it'd be very sick, and it would definitely be one that I would have to add to my list of records to get. I mean,
what's your most proud record that you own?
oof. I think my most proud one is I think it's a second pressing of Counterparts is between the difference between Hell and Home. I know it's the 10-year anniversary and they just released the pre-orders for the 10-year, but I haven't ordered one of those. Other than that, I think my other prized one would probably have to be Turnstiles Glow On. I was somehow able to get a first pressing, and that one made me very happy that I was able to get that.
That's nuts.
Really?
Yeah,
That's pretty fucking cool.
I was late to the Turnstile party, but I'm a huge fan of them now.
It's all Pete and Nick play at
Oh yeah.
practice.
If Kenny's tuning, usually me and Nick whip out a Turnstile riff. It always happens.
I'm just looking. Damn it!
I like skateboarding a lot, and Atiba Jefferson is a very prominent skateboarder or skate photographer. He like shoots for the NBA too.
Yep.
But on Instagram, he I don't know, just like constantly plugs Turnstile too. So like it's pretty cool that they're tied in with like the skate community, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy what that band is like, kind of in their mainstreamness. I know like all the hardcore kids are like, no, that's not cool that they went mainstream, but at the same time, like bridging this gap between hardcore into the mainstream is wild that they were able to do that. And stoked for them for being able to do that. One record I feel like I'd really need to talk about that is also like on my prized possessions, in case he's listening, Ben Coton, if you're listening, Such Golds. I have their first 2 EPs on vinyl, and it's very like that's the only band that I'm what is it? I can't think of the words, but I'm getting all the I'm very collecting that specific band. That is my ride or die.
That's so cool. I forgot about Such Gold.
They're from Minnesota too, right?
No, they're from Rochester, New York.
New York.
I thought they were Midwest for some reason.
I mean, there is a Rochester in Minnesota. I'm pretty.
There
sure.
is a
There is.
Is there? Oh,
yeah. Yeah, that's where the confusion is. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I found out about them like, I don't know, probably like 10 years ago, give or take. Me and Kenny, we grew up in Iron Mountain, and like Pete and Mike are from Escanaba. And I don't know, they're like small, rural, you know, like blue collar type areas.
Mm-hmm. Mining towns,
yeah. But cultural lag is like a real thing, you know, and like, I don't know, pop punk, all that stuff, Story So Far, Real Friends, Knuckle Puck, you know, that state champs.
Yeah.
I don't know, the list goes on. But all that stuff, like, you know, we found out about in like 2015.
I think it was a little earlier.
2014, 2015, I would say. But, you know, like at that time, that's when all this fifth wave stuff was also, you know, kind of like popping up. Yeah. And how did you find out about modern baseball?
It was a typo, actually. It's very embarrassing.
Change the game.
I was playing. This is a terrible song to admit that I was like searching for. Nah, not really. It's a good song.
Say it.
But I was looking up "Your Guardian Angel" by the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
Shout out Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
And I spelled it wrong. This is in like 2013. I was 18, and I mistyped it, and somehow it came up as "Your Graduation" by Modern Baseball. I'm like, okay. And then there it was born. That would have been 2014 then, because that's when that album came out.
Doesn't matter when it happened, as long as it happened, right?
It was around the same time when Taco Bell was it Riot Fest?
Yeah, there's a Cravings. Well, now it's a Cravings box. I don't know what it was called back then, but
Feed the Beat.
Yeah, they had all those bands on the top, and there's like the Front Bottoms, and Modern Baseball was on there, and
Prince Daddy was on there one year.
Yeah, I have like
Pretty sure.
it probably doesn't exist anymore. But at that point, I was so excited to see that like I took a picture. You know, 'cause I was like, front bottoms, you know. Yeah, the front bottoms and modern baseball. You know, like I don't know, they were both kind of like we did like the metal core like thing, right?
Everyone has the metalcore phase. Yeah.
Exactly. Like we were 17 in 2011. What do you want?
Checks out.
And yeah, like we did that, and I don't know, it's like everything got really overdone in that genre around that time, like 2013-ish, give or take. That point, like, I don't know, I was kind of bored with that stuff, and I think Kenny was too. And our friend Mike, his brother Tom, shout out to the Normans, but Tom Norman, he came over and he was like, you guys got to check this out, and he put on Twin Size Mattress by
front bottom.
yeah, by the front bottoms, and that was kind of a game changer, right? Because like up until we saw the front bottoms, like everything that I was paying attention to musically, it was like synchronized headbangs and shit, you know what I mean? But then like the front bottoms come along, and I was like, look at these guys just fucking having a blast, wearing khaki shorts, fucking, you know, chilling.
The Dab Religion audio tree t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Dab Religion, pure gold. But at that point, like I don't know. I saw that stuff. I saw Mobo, and like I felt more comfortable, you know, just like writing music to have fun. It wasn't a serious thing anymore. It was just like this is the cool thing that you love to do. So just have fun doing it, you know.
Yeah.
Modern baseball, just 100%, just that light shining through, you know. But like we found out about that stuff, and then I don't know how I got onto the pure noise fucking like rabbit hole, but I might have been Real Friends, that loose ends video.
It was either them or Knuckle Puck, because when we lived at that old house, that was pretty much, it was cycled on repeat. It would be either Real Friends or Knuckle Puck was playing at the time.
All that early Real Friend stuff, real Friend stuff is, I don't know, just so good, you know.
Oh yeah.
So good. So good. And like they had a little bit of emo-y stuff, you know, a little bit of noodly guitar. They said the words American and football. I was like, oh, they said it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, it was like around that time, I got the same thing, got sick of like the metalcore stuff, found out about the front bottoms, found out about pop punk, and then all that kind of started to like bleed together, you know, started to like, it all just kind of started to sound the same to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found out about Free Throw. Yeah. Free Throw.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck me up, dude. Yeah. Fuck, I can't remember what's the name of that.
Those days are gone.
Those days are gone.
Yeah.
That record changed the game, dude, like 100%. And that was like my first Spotify rabbit hole too, where like I just like related artists, listened to it, related artists. Then I just did that for like 3 weeks straight. And I don't know, you know, things have just never been the same. They really haven't. You know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I still remember like those initial moments finding all those bands. Free Throw is also one of my favorite bands. I think I've decided like my next tattoo is for sure going to be a free throw tattoo. Sorry, I'm also on beer 4. So, and I haven't eaten supper, so hell yeah, folks.
So my partner made me eat dinner before I came down here. It's like, you're gonna drink 6 beers, you're gonna come back all fucked up. It's like, you better eat something. She's not wrong.
I was very close to making food, and then I was just like so in the zone, like listening to everything, and the next thing I knew, I was like, oh shit, like we're starting in 10 minutes. Tight. I'll deal with that later. But it's not the first time, and it's definitely not the last time that I'll do that because I do it pretty much every time. But yeah, it's cool to see what influenced you to get to this point, and it kind of provides some like back knowledge context to this EP, which, like I've said, if anyone's listening and they haven't checked out Haymaker yet, go check that out. Go check out Good Deal as well, because it's still slaps and it's still super good. But now we're going to kind of transition to the last half of the episode, which is always my favorite part of the episode. This is where we talk about some fun stories from you guys' time of music, whether it's shows, tours, time recording. As I normally say, they can be anything horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between. Usually, like, the way I like to think about it is talk about the stories that you guys always reminisce about. Those are usually the best stories that I love to hear.
I mean, you guys got so many stories.
Last weekend is going off. Okay.
What are they talking about?
I got the stories.
You started.
Kiefer's literally in there listing off, just like, I'm pretty sure, a list of things to get at the grocery store right now. We have a group chat with like the bands from Lansing, and it's just going off right now. I was like, what's happening? I look in there and it's like Kiefer plays in Tournament and Dear Heretic, but also runs the Goblin Zone. And they're in there just literally listing off like spaghetti sauce, eggs, a dozen eggs.
They're gonna look at it later and be like, thank God I did this.
But yeah, we got the stories. You want like band stories, you want not band stories. We got the stories.
I mean, you got Mikey's car in Philly.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, boom, nailed it. Right off the rip. Okay, so one, we don't have a van. Our buddy Eric that Kenny was talking about, he's been gracious enough to bring us to these shows now.
Right.
Where before we were having to do like a caravan thing, where by the grace of God, we would hope that there would be somebody with like cargo space where they have a vehicle that could fit amps. But if not, we were forced to use Mikey's Chevy Spark, which is, in comparison, I would say Chevy's Prius almost, like that close. Smaller.
Yeah, it's like Chevy's Honda Fit.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's a good analogy. Which, like, again, Jason's not a small guy. We have gear,
You're down to like what, 6'10"?
Yeah, 6'9", but thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like we did like pretty much every gig up until these shows in June in Mikey's fucking little Chevy Spark. And we went out to New Jersey to record Haymaker with Gary at Sound Acres with Mikey's fucking Chevy Spark, his little pride and joy. Mikey's adorable. Mikey's not here. Let's talk about Mikey. Can we talk about Mikey real quick?
Yeah.
Mikey's adorable, dude. Like, the kid works at fucking Walmart, right? He gets a break. Like, the kid keeps an acoustic guitar in his car just to like work on stuff while he's on his break. He brings his drumsticks and his practice pad just to like work on rudiments. It's wild. It's insane. Because like me,
yeah.
Never.
I'm already eating on my break.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's our Mikey. I wish he was here. Mikey's at a wedding, like I said earlier. We have a
Shout out, Mike.
Shout out, Mike. Love Mike.
There he is. But we have an alter ego for Mikey, which I wish he was here enjoying these beers on this show. He goes by the name of Prison Mike, and Mikey will get just about blackout drunk, and that's what we call Prison Mike, because like you'll like bump elbows, like shoulders with him, and you're like, you're his best buddy, right? Like you play a game with him. You brush shoulders with Prison Mike, like he turns around, he's like, fuck you up. And like him so much. Anywho, his Spark.
Back to the Philly.
Back to the Philly thing. We took the Spark out there. Like Gary is closer to Philadelphia than like he is to NYC. So like we went out and recorded, had fun, like made a good record, and we planned it around this time so that we could do St. Patty's Day in Philly that Friday. Unfortunately, we were all broke. so we went and we did like tourist shit during the day instead, and we were just gonna hightail it back to Michigan. And if you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, you'll see like the Market Street Bridge.
Yep.
That's where we parked Mikey's fucking car, right? And like I do have long arms, but even still I could like reach out and touch like a parking meter. There were no identified spots for parking. There were no lines.
No
Not
like,
a line in sight.
no line or sign that says, "Hey, don't park here."
Nope.
Or any kind of. There was somebody pulling out of that spot as we pulled in, and
Yep.
So then we parked there and we go to Independence Hall.
Yep.
We're doing tourist stuff. We're just having a jolly time.
Just walking around. We did like a lap around Independence Hall. Anywho.
All right, so you guys just parked on the bridge, and you're not allowed to park there. But then you guys went to Independence Hall.
Yeah, there was no fucking there wasn't one single sign that said that we couldn't park there, and like I timed it based on like the text messages that I was sending my partner, right? Or I was like, we just got out of the car, walking, blah blah blah. We did a lap around Independence Hall, and then like went back to find our car so that we could go to the JFK Park, which is like a skate spot, and then do the Rocky Stairs. And I'm all excited, right? I'm stoked. I'm like Googling addresses and shit. And then Zach, our old bass player, he says, "Hey, where's the car?" Oh. And I was oh, like the PTSD. And then like I was like, maybe we parked further down. So I just like walked all the way up and down the Market Street Bridge. And like by the time I got back down to the bottom, I was like, nope. Walk back one more time. And then I was just like crazy man walking back and forth at that point. And like everyone thinks the car is stolen. I'm like, we don't know that. I went to call the Philadelphia police. We are again from the UP, the Woods. There are 2 police stations in Marquette, the Marquette police, and then the state police, and that's it. As it turns out in Philadelphia, there's like 7 police stations. There's 7 phone numbers that I had to call. Where I was like, someone has to know where this car is, otherwise it is stolen. So I'm on the phone with like the 3rd police station in Philadelphia, and then a cop just like was cruising by, and so we waved him down, and he was like a fucking like a Philly fucking police officer. We're like we couldn't understand what he was saying, and like he refused to talk to anyone besides Mikey because Mikey was the owner of the car. And like Mikey couldn't understand what he was saying and kept on asking questions. And the cop was like getting frustrated with Mikey. Where he's like, "What color blue is your fucking car?" And Mikey's like, "It's blue." "I don't know." So they figure it out, and the officer goes on to inform us that our car was with the Philadelphia Parking Authority in South Philadelphia. So we had to get a fucking cab all the way across town, and like we're almost to our destination, and we get cut off by another cab from the exact same cab company that stops this cab that we're already in, and it's like, "Roll your windows down." So we did, and he's like, "You guys looking for a cab?" We're like literally sitting in a cab. Yeah, that's exactly what Zach said. He's like, "Bro, we're in a cab." Yeah, and then
shout out Bruno.
Shout out Bruno. Yeah, Bruno was good people. But the cab driver, the cab service didn't take cards. We didn't have cash, and so like we went to use one ATM and it didn't work. Like it was broken. So we had to have the cab driver bring us to another ATM, which also didn't work.
Yeah, we were just
So we went to like a third
trying to find an ATM so we can pay for initial cab.
So like we finally pay the cab driver, you know, we dab him up and shit. Like, you know, we built a relationship with this cab driver.
Yeah.
We're talking about like fucking 30 minutes in the back of this cab with this guy. So he's like, you guys are good people. Good luck out there. And we're like, hell yeah, you too, Bruno, you know, whatever. And we get there. Come to find out, Mikey says nothing about this prior to us getting to the Philadelphia Parking Authority. But Mikey doesn't have proof of insurance or proof of registration. Bless his beautiful heart. Bless that beautiful soul, our Mikey. Okay, so like, I then had to like explain to Mikey that you can get these things online, and he didn't understand what I meant by that. Crazy.
I love Mike.
So like me and Zach like found like his registration online, and he worked with like a mom and pop insurance company for his car from Escanaba in the UP. So like I had to call this fucking insurance office in Escanaba and like talk to them and be like, hi, I'm calling on behalf of my friend Mikey McGaffigan. He needs proof of insurance. Our car got towed in Philadelphia. And she's like, are you serious? It was so dumb, dude. Then we sat there for like 2 hours, like waiting for Mikey to like get his car to the impound. Cost us $200, and then 2 hours that we're waiting there, this lady walked up who like clearly also had her car get towed. And she's like also got like a crazy thick Philly accent. She's like, what, they get you a car too? And we're like, yeah. She's like, fuck the PPA, motherfuckers. And then like did like a double middle fingers like at the street, not to us, but like to the
Just a Philly.
just a
Yeah, just a Philly.
Yeah, and then like Kenny's got a great picture of like Mikey returning with the car like hours later. And then like I haven't been a cigarette smoker in a long time. But it was like 5 o'clock by the time that we got our car out of impound. And then we had to drive from Philly back to Marquette, Michigan, which is about 16, 17 hours. And
It's like 11.
I thought it was more than that. I could be wrong. I might be exaggerating. It might just seem like it was that long. But either way, like Zach drove out of in the Spark. Zach drove out of Pennsylvania. Once we hit the Ohio border, he had me drive. And the night before, we wrapped up recording, and now we had the mixes. Same thing as Good Deal. Fucking, I just listened to that shit on a loop for like 5 hours. Didn't sleep at all. The shit happens in Philly, and is that the picture? Yeah. But the shit happens in Philly, and then I have to drive for like 6 hours afterwards. And at this point, it's like 8:30 at night, and I'm running on 2 hours of sleep.
Right.
So I drank like 5 Bang energy drinks, and I counted. I smoked
Recipe for disaster.
It got us there. It got us there. It was a combination of those Bang energy drinks and then 16 Marlboro full flavored cigarettes over a 5-hour span. Yeah, my lungs will never be the same. It was horrible. But we got back to Detroit, and we again crashed at Zuby's house. Yeah, that was like our halfway spot. Same dude that we stayed with before. And I don't know, there's like a 7-Eleven by his house, and we were getting food and stuff, and like I was so exhausted that I had to have Kenny buy my food for me because I was like about to like fall over waiting in line to pay. It was a nightmare.
Probably won't make out Mikey, but just to put a bow on the story there, this is Mikey at the PPA and the Chevy Spark that we toured in.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
How was that even possible?
It's fucking not.
Yeah,
I'm so happy I wasn't around for that.
You can't see it in the picture either, but Mikey also has one headlight missing. or not headlight, rear view mirror. The one on his passenger side is just gone.
Oh, geez.
That being gone is a story in itself.
Yeah,
that's not for me to tell.
That's a Mikey story.
That's a Mikey story.
So when we do this for the LP1, then we'll have to remember to have Maggie tell that story.
Yep, 100%.
He's pissed. Tell it.
You gotta
fucker in my mirror.
You have to bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up.
It can't be us. It can't be us, or the band will break up.
So
All right,
Michael,
hold on. Let me write that down real quick.
Yeah.
the spark mirror.
What happened to your mirror?
No, but that's crazy. Like, because obviously you're going to go record in the studio. What of your own instruments did you take? Did you guys just take your guitars and didn't even take those?
I took my guitar and my pedal board.
Did you use them?
No.
But you still had to shove it in that small car. Plus, there's 4 people, everyone's bags. Like that'd be a cramped time.
It's sitting between me and Zach. Well, Zach drove most of the time.
Yeah, Zach drove most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Gary sent us his gear list of what he had for us to use out there, and we were limited with space. So at that point, like, he had basically the more badass version of everything that we use. so we just kind of relied on Gary for gear, but it worked out good. Haymaker and Good Deal, actually, right? Was Good Deal on a Les Paul?
Tyler, yeah, he had a Les Paul.
Yeah, there's a picture of you with a Les Paul.
Yeah, which is funny. I guess I'm a Gibson guy. Both Haymaker and Good Deal, as far as my parts are concerned, were both recorded on Les Pauls. Yeah, it's just funny. I might have to go to Les Paul now.
Do it.
Do it.
You should have talked to me like 2 years ago before.
Drop $5,000. Yeah,
You can get one for like $600. Doesn't have to be a Gibson.
that's true. But if it was a Gibson, yeah, let's take out a small loan for a guitar.
Why don't you get a Reverend, but like one of their Gibson style guitars?
I thought about that, actually. Yeah.
Because I've been told they it's a nice hybrid between the two. A lot of their models.
What are you doing, Jason?
What's so important?
What's so important?
Huh? Yeah. Well, share class.
Yeah, share with the class. Yeah, it's the group chat.
All right. I don't know where to start. Okay, so I said, on a podcast right now, should I say something dumb? Kiefer says hard-boiled eggs, scrambled eggs, corn nuts. Kenny have no idea I'm talking in here right now. 8. Vegan lo mein. Shout out the boyfriends group chat. That was a request.
I'm trying to think of any other stories we've had recently.
I don't know.
I mean,
You're talking about Pugfest.
We could. We can
talk about Pugfest. Yeah,
Pugfest was cool.
Are you familiar with Pugfest?
I am. I think I'm friends with someone that helped organize it, and then I saw that also had a pretty stacked lineup for this year's too. So
yeah, they went all out. It was pretty cool because, like, I don't know, like, Charmers from Marquette, so like those guys like Dave, Neil, and like Zach, they're very much just like Dave, Neil, and Zach. They're our buddies, but Prince Daddy, Oso, and like these other bands, Carly Cosgrove, I feel like I've been tripping on them for like a while. I don't know, like Kenny didn't have so much of this issue, but I was like kind of starstruck, like I love Prince Daddy, and I saw like Corey, and I was like, I could just walk up to him and say hi, but like I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kenny met Jay from Oso though, I think.
Way too drunk when it happened.
I'm sure that helped.
Shout out Doug from former Critics. He was my guy that night. He just had the whole setup in his car. He had beer, he had snacks. I was talking to Doug all day, and then so after our set, of course, I decided I'm having fun. So I started throwing back the beers, And then yeah, I ran into Jade from Oso Oso twice, where I went. First time I was less drunk, still more coherent than anything, and I'm like, "Hey man, you got some of my favorite songs ever," and he went, "Thank you, man," and that was cool. But then I came across him again, like post Oso set, where that time I was a little drunk at that point. I cannot recollect what we talked about, but it was a good experience nonetheless. Very very nice person.
You talk about meeting like your, you know, like your heroes, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love to think about like Kenny having that experience, but also like being like 7 beers deep.
It was really cool that we got to play a set, and then like it was awesome, and then we all got to like just watch the festival and have like our own experiences for the rest of it.
Yeah, and
It was
like
sweet.
the way that the Crowfoot is set up, it has like a balcony area that borders the main room. So like that's where everyone had their merch set up. And it was pretty cool because it like was exclusively bands that I really like and really respect. But their merch was like set up like a fucking science fair. So like you could walk up and talk to whoever, you know, like the whole show, the whole time. It was so sick.
It was so sick.
Yeah. I would probably say that was one of the coolest experiences I've had playing music. Without a doubt.
It was really cool for me because it was like we played this set. We were in the Burners room, which there was a handful of stages at the Crowfoot. There was the main stage, the Pike room, then the Burners room. And so my experience was we played a set in the Burners room, and then I just would go be able to check out just an endless wave of like cool bands, and there was always a band going on. So it was an awesome experience.
Yeah, they had it set up to where like, so there's the main stage in the ballroom, and then like you could take this hallway down to where we played, the Werner's room, and um they had like staggering sets between the main room and the Werner's room of like the emo bands, and then there was like hardcore bands playing upstairs in the Pike room, like just all the time. So like there's always something to like go see. It was really cool.
Really cool the whole time.
Oh yeah,
Just like not.
just a full day of fun.
Yep.
Yeah, fun and
I
beer.
didn't know that there was like free beers for the bands.
It's like 9 o'clock.
I was like, I'm fucking dumb.
Yeah, I was by the whole night. Me and Mikey went up to like the green room after discovering that it existed.
Oh
And
yeah.
then
7 hours after us being there, they go up to the green room. I didn't know there was.
I was getting Labatt's Blue off of Doug.
Yeah, we like again. I didn't know there was a green room, so like I walked to like a sketchy like liquor store. We all did. We all walked to like a sketchy liquor store. I was like a quarter mile away from the Crowfoot in Pontiac, Michigan, and I got these Bahama Mama. I love saying that so much.
Yeah, we had all fucking drink our drinks outside before we went back in.
But this is my favorite Punk Fest story. So we get these Bahama Mama malt liquor fucking cocktail things that are like 11% alcohol, but they're like gravy thick. They were disgusting but potent. And we parked our van like by other vans that were parked by this like abandoned parking garage, right? And like there's like the drop down chain thing to stop cars from going in. So we couldn't go in there, but somebody clearly like put a hole in like the door chain. Or like there was, I'm not kidding, dude, there was probably 150 to 250 like whippet canister things. Like just like the bullet things that were just like piled up in this parking garage. like so it's like fucking 3:30 in the afternoon. It might have been later than that, but we're outside behind the van like drinking our margarita Bahama Mama things, and I see like the dude from like Carly Cosgrove with their van and their trailer like trying to find a place to park, and I was like, hey, hold on 1 second. and Eric, our buddy that we've been talking about, I was like, we don't have a trailer, so you can park your van here, where there was like a little, like sidewalk thing that was jetting
Mhm.
out. And I was like, you can park in front of that, and then he can park next to us. And so that's what we did, right? And I stopped the dude from Carly Cosgrove. I'm like, hey, you can park right here. Just hang on 1 second. And like, we're from the UP, which is basically Canada. We have accents. It's okay.
Half Wisconsin, half Canada.
Half Wisconsin, half Canada. It's a great way to describe the UP. But a very common phrase up here is "oh fuck yeah, bud," which is a very Canadian thing to say.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, bud. So like I'm hammered. Like Carly Cosgrove is like trying to back in their van, and I'm like backing in the dude from Carly Cosgrove, just like drunk on Bahama Mamas. Like, oh fuck yeah, bud. I said that like 7 times. Right? Oh, keep it coming. Oh fuck yeah. Yeah, like a fucking episode of Letterkenny and shit. Fucking van gets pulled in, and then my partner Summer was like talking to the dude from Carly Cosgrove, and they got to talking about drinking, and the dude from Carly Cosgrove is like, I try not to drink on tour. And Summer asks, oh, is that because you have to drive? And he's like, no, it's because of vocal health. And then she said that like they look.
I don't anymore too.
She said that they looked over at us behind the van, and I just had like 2 Bahama Mamas above my head, and I was like, ah.
They're on to, they are on to something.
That's my favorite, interaction with Pugfest for sure. I just picture that like from far away, like glance, or it's like me to Eric. Pure gold. Pugfest was great. Yeah, I agree. Like there probably is some light to like maybe not drinking 6 beers a night when you're on tour.
Well, yeah, I stopped doing it because
Thank you,
of
Mike.
that same exact reason. Because like I'll drink. I learned it because I'd had 2 singular beers when we did that last tour, and after the drive, I just had no voice whatsoever. And I was trying to go light. I had 2 beers, but then the whole way down, no voice. And I'm trying every trick in the book, tea, honey, drinking straight honey, drinking hot tea with honey in it. And got to the show and just nothing. So then I tried not drinking for like the next weekend and had a voice every night. I'm like, wow, I might be onto something here.
In my defense, I didn't play anything in the band. I just drove every other day and sold merch. So I didn't give a shit. I was like, I'm gonna drink. But I did keep, since I did like kind of TMing for the band. I basically kept the band to a 2-drink limit before they played. After they played, I didn't give a shit. But before they played, because I knew that they could get super sloppy. Because we were also like in Iowa, we were in that time in that era, we were the drinking band. So if we were showing up, we were already coming correct and then ready to go even more if needed. But yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, sometimes we can have a little bit too much fun. Spend $90 on hot dogs. We brought aboard our buddy Tanner for this specific reason, and it's to mitigate the money we spend on hot dogs.
Specifically hot dogs.
He's just the band dad.
Yeah, but
Tanner's basically our manager.
But yeah,
Tanner's
our manager. I'll say that.
Deal with it, Tanner.
Deal with it, Tanner. Yeah.
Tanager.
Take that, Tanager. Yeah. But we played at the Goblin Zone for a release show this past weekend, and again, historically speaking, I get to a gig, I'm all hyped up. I'm like, let's drink some beers, have a good time.
Yeah.
That show, I mitigated myself to exactly 2 beers until we played. Yeah. And that was due 100% to Tanner. Also being like, hey man, why don't we keep it down to like 2 beers versus like 6 before you get up?
Right. Yeah.
It's tough because like we're I don't know, like in Marquette, we close shows, but downstate there's usually like, like your final boss fight or your no problemo that will close out a show. And like you get to like that last set, and then like that's 3 sets prior to us getting up there where like I can actually just like let loose and have fun,
Mhm.
and it's definitely a control thing, I would say, because like the way I do vocals, I need to kind of pay attention to what I'm doing. Otherwise, either A, it's gonna sound like dog shit, or B, I'm gonna fuck my voice up for like the next show the next night. And that's something that I've been pretty chronic with doing, So like Tanner is like
The voice of reason.
the voice of reason. Both of these fellows played in a band called Royce Park, and Tanner played bass in Royce Park. And we went out on a weekender, Casper and Royce.
That was when Good Deal came out.
That was my good. That was.
That was the beginning of
That-
it all.
that
That
was.
was when you guys met all the Lansing crew.
Yeah, that was the first the Hobbit hole.
How beautiful.
Full
Yeah.
circle.
Full
That was
circle.
Royce's last tour.
Yeah.
And then the Phoenix that came out.
Yep. But Tanner, that whole trip was like so adamant. Was like, guys, we're gonna be late. We're spending too much money.
Where's our gear?
Where?
Tune before every song.
Does everyone have patch cables? Is everyone in tune?
Have you eaten today?
Exactly. We're all like, God, Tanner, shut up. But like now, like we signed with No Sleep. At that point, I was like, okay, we're gonna get busier. Like we all agreed that like shit needs to become a little less casual, I guess.
Mhm.
And Tanner is a very reliable voice of reason that we all trust.
Yeah.
That like we know just like genuinely has like our best interest out. Feel like that's what Tanner's looking for at the end of the day, So like with what you're saying with like the like I was just there to like sell merch, but like I was like, hey, maybe we should
Well,
do
at
like
the
a drink thing.
so as much as I made it seem like I was laid back, I was also like Tanner, where I was kind of like, hey, we're far behind. Like we need to fucking get there and all that stuff. But it's awesome that you guys found and kept that connection, so Tanner can keep doing that as you're saying, like, this things are getting a little bit more real, more busy, more. You need someone to kind of fill that dad responsibility void.
Yeah.
I think after like our first weekender together, I was like, maybe Tanner was right.
Yeah. I don't know, like I couldn't tell you how much money we've made with like selling t-shirts and like tapes, over 2023. Like I really wouldn't be able to tell you. And that's not great when, you're looking at making things a little bit
More legit.
And I don't know, I'll be 100% real with you. I just don't have the attention span or wherewithal to fucking like write down how many shirts we've sold at this show, like
Tanner shows up with a binder and size counts, a calculator. He's got a full-on cash register.
He's ready.
Yeah, you like I don't know. We brought him down here to talk about this stuff, and like before we even got to like talking about Casper, Tanner like already like was boasting about like the itinerary that he put together for like his trip to the Wisconsin Dells with his girlfriend Jamie. I was like, sign him up.
Tanner's in.
Yeah. Like I don't know, just like immediately just like really good ideas where he's like, I don't know, we should get like a schedule together so that like these two also play in a very good band called Small Comforts, and Mikey plays in another really good band called Passed Out Curbside, and like all three at Curbside, Casper, Small Comforts, like we're all really busy. and we've constantly relied on like memory to like remember when like all of us have shows, and it's just not worked out, at all. When Tanner's like, they make this app called Time Tree.
We were on it at one point. It was,
Yeah,
it
but
was
like,
Tanner's idea to get back into it.
yeah, but like we didn't use it, and I never once thought of that. Where I was like, how do I make everyone aware of what's going on, And Tanner's like, why don't we just use the Time Tree app that we used like 2 years ago? We're like, you son of a bitch.
Hey, why did I think of that?
I have to pee now.
Whatever, dude.
Whatever, bro.
Whatever. Talk about tube screamers.
Tube screamers?
Rig rundown with Pete.
Dude, I saw there's I saw there's a they make a tube screamer for bass. I think that's the overdrive I want to get. But I don't want to spend so much on it because I'm a broke boy, but I don't know, we'll see. Dane told me to get a soul food, so I might get that.
Shout out Dane.
I know nothing about bass gear. I was a guitarist all my life, so I'm pretty new to the bass scene.
Pete just got
what made you switch over?
So
the need, but you can go.
Oh no. Basically when Royce stopped being a thing, it's also the birth of Small Comforts as a story, but I was looking for stuff to do because we were playing in Pete wasn't in Casper yet. I was in Casper, but I get bored really easy, so I constantly need stuff to do. So with that other band void just sitting there, I'm like, I gotta do something else. And then so I started working up another project, just calling my friends, being like, hey, you wanna make a record, do something? And then I called Pete immediately because Pete's just an absolute ripper. Anything you give him, it's magic. And but I asked Pete to play bass, which was probably out of his comfort zone at the time, but and then he agreed, and then that was kind of where Small Comfort started, and then that's where Pete became a bass god.
Bass is so fun, dude. I love it. It's like different too, because like I don't know, like I've only played guitar and like lead mostly, so like most of my stuff has been like color. Like if you think of a cake, like I've always been the frosting, and now like I'm the cake. Like I gotta match with the drummer, and like I can feel what I'm fucking playing in my legs. And like if I fuck up, you're gonna notice way easier than like a guitar player and stuff. And
you're
like,
the turkey and the turkey dog instead of the ketchup.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's just like a whole new like world for me. It's like makes it even more fun, I guess.
Royce Park references.
But I know nothing about bass pedal gear. I'm using completely borrowed gear on this whole run so far. I need to build my own fucking bass pedal board.
He's Jimi Hendrixing it right now. He doesn't even have a board.
Yeah, 100%. I was borrowing a bass. I'm still borrowing one, but now a different one. Oh yeah, and it's been a mess.
Jeez.
What a mess.
Yeah, that's what made me play bass. To answer your question, is like there was voids, I guess, that needed it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that maybe not a lot of people, but I feel like there's a few people that I know that also play bass. That it's more just like, oh, there was just no one else that could play, that was available to play bass.
It doesn't get talked about, but I would place money that half the bassists in the world like probably were thrust into position because of that, or like there was just a need for it and someone had to do it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because like I don't know, when you think about it, like when you're young, no one wants to do it, but like I think I like it more now. Like just like as you like realize the role it has in the band, it's completely different. 100%.
It's a deceptively hard instrument. Like because growing up, they're all like, oh, if you know how to play guitar, you know how to play bass. But then you actually get into the meat of playing bass, and it's a very hard instrument to actually like, and it's high stakes. Where like noodling on guitar, I can miss a few notes and nobody really notices. If you miss a bass note, everybody hears that. Everybody's like, oh,
sour.
I don't think I've talked about this on the podcast, but there was a time where my friends, we were all going on tour. It's the band that I always jammed for, but their bass player was like quitting and dropping out like halfway through the tour. And then, so like we knew that going into tour that he was just gonna dip out and whatever. So I was like, I'll try and learn bass, and I tried to give myself like a month to learn like 6 songs, and I maybe got like a song or like half a song down because it's like you said, it's I mean, especially never playing a string instrument, it was difficult to get into it and then also try and memorize already pre-written music. Um, Thankfully, someone else stepped in and joined the last half of that tour, so I didn't have to do that. But that, yeah, was as close as I've ever gotten to actually playing in a band.
Word. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, at least you were like dedicated, you know,
Yeah.
like you were willing to step in and like
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
every band needs that.
Oh yeah. I want to play bass in a band, to be honest. Whenever we do the Royce switch ups, every here and there we bring back some Royce Park songs every here and there, and I just hop on bass, and makes me want to play bass in a band.
Yeah,
It's very fun.
Hey, we can throw something together with the little time we have. Oh, I'm sure he's good. He's just gonna crack another beer, is all.
What do you got? What do you got now? We have a
yeah. What do you got now?
Is that not beer?
Yeah. So we practice in the basement of a tattoo shop. Shout out Sacred Tattoos.
Oh yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they had like a Labor Day thing. Because like they just yeah. Like copious amounts of beer in their fridge and like this is a citrus squall.
Okay. Hell yeah.
So I'm like,
It's from Michigan.
So I'm like $2 or whatever.
Dogfish Head.
Dogfish Head.
Yeah.
The can looks cool.
Before I have to tell the one story from the last little weekender where we got berated by an entire flock of seagulls.
It's from fucking Boston.
It's from Boston?
It's from fucking Boston.
What's the story with the seagulls, Ken?
No, it was remember when we got berated by the seagulls over the past weekend?
Oh, the Seagulls doing this year.
Seagulls? Like a
Seahawks.
Seahawks?
Sorry.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a clip of that.
But we stopped on the way to the Goblin Zone because this time we were nice and like cost efficient. We didn't stop at Wienerlicious. We didn't spend like $30 on hot dogs. We
brought our own wieners.
But we brought like sandwiches and like sandwich meat and all sorts of food, and we posted up right before the Mackinac Bridge, and we sat in this really pretty spot. And Mikey, our dear friend Mikey, he dropped a piece of bread on the ground and
fucking said nothing. Fucking said nothing. Dude, that's so insane.
And so there's probably 50 to 60 seagulls in our nearby area. We're just sitting outside the van next to the lake, you know, just enjoying our lunch, getting ready to go across the bridge. And Mikey drops this piece of bread, and none of us know about it.
Walks away.
And then before we know it, we are just being swarmed by seagulls.
I'm just like throwing lunch meat in a fucking Eric's band. There's like salami on the ground. I'm like, ah.
That's like such a slick like villain maneuver to just be
Is
like,
it not? Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah.
That's Mikey's alter ego, secret villain.
You know, Mikey likes to play cute. Okay? And I'll admit, he's adorable. But that's a goddamn ploy. He grew up in Escanaba. You know, like the kid, I watched it happen. I like came dangerously close to like having it on camera even. Like I literally put my phone down like 2 seconds before. And like I watched Mikey like make full eye contact with a piece of bread on the ground and then think about it and go, nah. Fucking, then he just like walked towards Jane. So funny.
Oh,
Pure gold.
Michael.
Yeah. But I will say that like with trying not to spend $90 on hot dogs, you know, we're trying to look at the experience of like, we live in Michigan, you know, like there's like 5 million places where you could just like stop and have lunch, you know, and like there's grills everywhere. You can just easily make hot dogs like at a park and just like have a good time for $10 for everyone to eat
Right.
versus literally 90.
Yeah, there's.
Imagine if we would have stopped that Wienerlicious on this trip.
Not happening.
I don't think Tanner would have talked to us the rest
I
of
don't,
the trip.
I don't think you would
No,
have.
Tanner left us. Tanner would have left you.
I'm out.
Made you ride in the van.
Yeah, Tanner was not feeling very Wienerlicious. All of us.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
We made an agreement where if we sell X amount of shirts over the two shows that we would either get Fleetwood, which is a Lansing diner, for breakfast, or we would get Wienerlicious on the way home.
And we got neither.
We
got neither.
We got Bob Evans.
Neither. Oh.
Yep. And Bob Evans was fucking trash. All right.
Would you? Yeah, that was a good experience.
I mean, I got a fail safe. It was pretty good.
You got a fail safe, but
You know-
but Tanner, the kid who doesn't like spending money, gets a serving of fucking bacon, and like a quote unquote glazed bacon, but it was at Bob Evans, so it was just bacon that they just like drenched in fucking like
Syrup.
maple syrup.
Yeah. Like a bourbon maple glaze or whatever.
Tanner wanted nothing to do with it. It was so funny. It was yeah.
That's why you got to get just the hash browns, the 2 eggs, and the protein.
We
It's a
brought-
fail-safe. Everything's good.
We brought Atticus. Atticus is a band here from Marquette, but you know we're all like 25 to 29 years old, and Atticus they're like
I have no idea how old they are.
Like 20.
They're younger.
19 to almost 21. You know, they're very excited about doing music stuff.
It's all their first bands, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, which is beautiful. It makes me so happy.
It's cool seeing
They're
them.
having so much fun. It's so cool, dude. And like, I don't know, we were talking about doing like a release show, right? But like, we have, I would argue, just as much of a local following in Marquette as we do down in Lansing.
Hmm.
So that's why we did like a part 1 in Marquette and then a part 1 or part 2 down there. And we brought Small Comforts because they fucking rip. and Atticus, who also rips, but again, like, I don't know, it was so cool, like bringing those guys like down to the Goblin Zone in Lansing, and just like
it was a Marquette Bill in Lansing.
it was Marquette Bill in Lansing, which is fucking again super sick. But like, I don't know, Atticus, like, I don't know, they just got to see what like a DIY show, you know,
It was
outside of Marquette looks like.
Lansing, what Kalamazoo was to us.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look at like pictures and stuff from that show, Josh, their drummer, and Eric too, their bass player, they're in like, I don't know, pretty much every picture of like a pit, you know. They were just like in it the whole time. It was beautiful. They made a bunch of money selling merch. It's so cool, you know. I don't know, it's neat.
Yeah.
Michigan's a cool scene.
No, yeah, that's amazing that you're able to, you know, have another like younger generation of musicians come up and keep your guys' like Marquette scene alive. I know I've lived in the Twin Cities for probably almost like 4.5 years now. I'm originally from like southeastern Iowa, and like we had a pretty decent scene growing up. And then, you know, I moved away, got out of the music scene, started doing the podcast, and I went home last fall or whatever, and there was like a local show going on, so I made sure to like go out for it. And it was just crazy that I only knew one of the bands on the bill. There was 3 new bands on the bill that I'd never heard of before, and they all lived in the scene. And it was just nice to see like these new kids still doing what everyone wants to do in the scene, and like, you know, getting up on the stage, playing music, and just keeping it going after I thought, you know, it had died out with my friends. It's nice to see there's still so much more coming out down the pipeline.
Yeah. Pre-COVID, like Marquette, even Charmer.
Yeah.
Like Charmer was different before COVID. Um, it's kind of weird to say because like we were in bands in that era as well. Like
Mhm.
COVID happened, so on and so forth, and like I don't know. I feel confident saying that like Casper and Small Comforts, Atticus, um, Pastel Curbside. Like as far as like the Marquette scene goes, like it's it feels like a second thing for me personally, just because I was doing stuff up here before COVID, but I was playing drums in a band, you know, but like Charmer wasn't like on counterintuitive and like stuff was just different. Saturdays at your place didn't exist,
No.
Mulligan was still on No Sleep Records.
Yeah.
Shit was different, like pre-COVID. And I don't know, it like Casper ended up in like a really fucking weird spot, like after lockdown.
There's no bands playing in town.
We were birthed in like March of 2020, right when it all started. And at that point, you really didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know if like everything was going to open up next month. That it was, you never knew when it was going to end. And then it was like, what was it, 2-something years down the road when
Yeah,
like stuff finally started.
it was like around 4th of July.
Yeah.
4th of July 2021.
Okay, so like a year and a half.
Year and a half.
America was like, not this year. No,
America
needed.
Yeah.
Gonna leak all the demos we made in March 2020 after this podcast.
Right now.
You know what?
Leak them live. Let's go.
If people want those, DM us. I will literally I'll send those Dropbox links. I don't fucking care.
Young Neil, he lived here.
Yeah.
I desperately want to bring that song back so badly.
We've been tossing around the idea of re-recording Flesh Moon Motorcycle and like a couple other of like the first things that me and Kenny wrote.
I'd be down for it. As a fan, I'd be down.
I think that we could make them cooler without making them too different. There's just like a lot of stuff where we're talking 2.5 years later, like listening back on stuff. There's stuff where like I'm very proud of like those parts and like the stuff that like I do want to change, but at the end of the day, like I'm like, well, wouldn't it be fucking sick if like instead of doing this here, we did this here, So I had no plans of writing a full-length record, like I don't know, up until we signed a No Sleep, give or take, honestly. But now that is what we're looking at doing, which that's what we're looking at doing. I'll say that. Next up, full length. All right. Yeah.
I'd love.
Fully.
I'm not saying it.
All right. I'm gonna say it for Kenny. Kenny says
Okay.
full
Hell yeah.
length.
I've loved this episode because there's so many. Like I have like I say before we even started, like I have a list of questions that'll guide us through. It's been great that we go off on these tangents and then you come back, I ask a question, and you answer like 3 of my questions in your response that I wasn't anticipating. So now I don't have to ask that. So fuck yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, that's the move.
But hell yeah. I mean, a full length is a big ordeal to accomplish. So, I mean, I can't wait to see what that full length becomes. But I'm like, whatever you do, I'm stoked on next.
I'll be honest. I haven't felt the urge to like fucking make cool shit to this degree in like a long time. Like the gears are turning. There's gonna be a lot of cool stuff that we're gonna be putting on this LP. We're gonna have like Pete doing
Yeah.
Pete shit,
The debut of Pete writing in Casper.
which is like definitely a new thing, but we got work to do. So for you and whoever else hears this, we're gonna play Fauxchella. We're gonna do the Tulsa Fest, and then I don't know. We're gonna work on writing, and we're gonna like for the first time ever like write. We're gonna say we're writing.
Instead of it just happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's exciting. You know, for me personally, like as one of the people who's like contributing, but also like I don't know, I try to look at everything as like from the perspective of somebody who's excited about the shit that we're doing. And we're gonna be doing some fucking cool shit, man. It's exciting. We're excited.
Hell yeah! I'm so stoked for you guys.
It's so exciting. Stabbing with his breeze.
Right. But like I said, I'm so stoked for you guys. This EP is great. Everything you're doing is amazing, and I can't wait to see what comes next down the line. I can't stress enough how stoked I am also that you guys were able to sign with No Sleep as we were kind of talking about before the episode even started. Like that's been one of my favorite record labels to date. I mean, you see the Major League flag. I got the mixtapes flag. You can't see it, it's off screen, but I got the No Sleep logo flag over there. Like they're a big part of I think my definition of what I listen to. But
Can I show you something real quick?
Yes.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna grab this. Sorry, Kenny. Sorry, Pete. All right. So if you see here, this big old No Sleep Records sticker, which is badass. Like the artwork is just like super sick.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
We got these stickers like 2 years ago, and we were all hyped up because we got into this practice space that we're sitting in right now with Dave from Charmer. We were like, I don't know, sitting here kind of like geeking out, like hanging out, and we got these stickers and stuff, and like never once did I think that we would end up like on this label. It's weird. It's pretty cool. We've worked very hard, but it's very clear that we have like a lot more work to do. And I've never been more excited to do work than I am right now.
I mean, I feel like those are great words to end the conversations on. Dudes, like I've had a ton of fun on this Thursday. Like I didn't anticipate feeling the position I am in right now. Obviously the alcohol and the weed also helped. But like I said, like this has been a great conversation. Everyone that's listening, please make sure you go check out the Casper Fight Scene and stay up to date with everything that's going on. Speaking of staying up to date, if anyone's looking for merch, music, or the Casper Fight Scene in general, where can they find it?
NoSleepRecords.com, motherfucker. Yeah.
You heard it there. Depending on where you found this episode, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or I guess X, sorry, or Threads, or you watched the YouTube version and got to hang out with our giggly smiley faces all night, make sure you check those hyperlinks. Follow them on all the social steps. Date for those upcoming shows. This comes out the same weekend as Fauxchella. If you're there, make sure you stay till Sunday. Catch these dudes ripping it. And if you're looking for tickets for the Oklahoma festival, I'll try and put those in description. That's in November, so you can't miss it. But stay up to date for future shows. Be ready for possible vinyl coming soon. We're looking at you, Chris. Make sure that happens. I know I'm going to be waiting in line for that one. But like I can't stress enough, this has been a great time hanging out with the three of you. The Casper Fight Scene is doing great things, and I'm stoked for the future. Do you have any last words for the listeners before we take off?
Yeah. I want final boss fight on this fucking podcast. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out Final Boss Fight. Shout out Lansing in general. Shout out the Goblin Zone. I don't know. There's so many shout outs. We've done enough shout outs.
There has been quite a
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
I might have to put in the description like take a drink every time there's a shout out.
Yes.
This one might be the one.
I love that. Take a drink every time there's a shout out. Yeah. Yeah, but no, for real. Dane does run doors. Dane this.
Hashtag Pete this.
Hashtag Pete this. I think that's it. Go listen to Haymaker.
Then for another show, we're playing with Camping Alaska. in
Oh
Kalamazoo.
fuck yeah, we're playing Camping in Alaska in Riley, in Kalamazoo. That's
on the way to Fauxchella.
Yeah, like
Oh, okay.
Friday we have Kalamazoo with Camping in Alaska, Riley, and Postcard Nowhere. And then Saturday we're gonna be just straight up chilling at Fauxchella. So if you're seeing this, come to Fauxchella, hang out Saturday. We'll probably be like drinking some fucking Bahama Mamas. Fucking straight up chilling. And that's it. Yeah, go listen to Haymaker. That's all I got. That's it.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, listen to Haymaker. Go follow these dudes, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode. See ya.
Peace.
Beers with Biz. Beers with Biz.